Steve Kim with Max Boxing, and we are here with Freddie Roch. So, Freddie, anything interesting happened to you lately?
Couple things.
Freddie, this must be sweet vindication. I know you don't want to be a bad winner, but let's face it, you really put your reputation on the line.
I did. I spoke out. I opened my mouth, and if we lost, I would have been really embarrassed. But I knew we were going to win that fight. I mean, I told everyone we'd knock him out in 9 rounds, and well, we knocked him out in 8. But I lost my bet by 1 round.
Well, we'll still give you credit for it. Here's the thing, Freddie. When you were speaking out so vociferously for Manny to take this fight, in fact, you basically convinced Manny, forget the money's good, the opportunity is so great. Give me your reasons why you felt this was the right fight at the right time.
I know Oscar has trouble with southpaws. He has trouble with speed guys. I saw mistakes he makes in the fights with Floyd. He doesn't know how to cut the ring off. He follows opponents, and he doesn't know how to make adjustments. And I felt if Manny uses his speed and fights the right game plan, it's an easy fight for us. And, you know, I had all my confidence in the world in Manny, because going into Diaz's fight, he weighed 147 pounds. At first I said, oh, shit, he put on too much weight. He's going to be a little bit sluggish and slow tonight. But he wasn't. He was perfect. His speed and power were there, so I knew he could fight at 147. So that was my factors, and, you know, everything came true.
Freddie, you said on one of the episodes of 24/7, you knew certain things, like why Oscar didn't pump the jab. You knew certain things. Were you like the Ivan Boesky of boxing? Did you have inside information on Oscar based on your training camp in Puerto Rico last year?
Yeah, you know, I was 8 weeks with the guy, and, you know, I was trying to teach him how to cut the ring off, and he doesn't really know how to do that. And I said, Oscar, come on, stop fooling around. I thought he was joking with me, and he just kept following me on the mitts. And when you start following guys like Pacquiao, Manny kept walking him into the straight left hand. And I said, Manny, it's going to be so easy when you move to your left. Instead of cutting the ring off, he's gonna follow you, and he's gonna walk you right into your left hand. With Mayweather, because he's not a southpaw, it took Oscar's jab away from him, because Oscar was always a step behind him.
Freddie, when you look at the preparation for this fight, I remember we talked about 2 months ago when this training camp first started. You said for the first time Manny really looked at tapes of Oscar De La Hoya. You said he watched about 20 of his fights. Was that unusual for Manny to be that mentally prepared coming into a camp?
Definitely. Usually Manny watches about 10 seconds and gets bored and goes away. So he usually lets me do that. And but he watched tape. He knew he had to make certain adjustments for Oscar's style, of course, and the bigger guys. And the best part about the camp was the sparring partners. Sparring was harder than the fight, of course. You know, right. Rashad Holloway did a great job. Marvin Cordova did a great job. Amir Khan and Michael Allen at the end. He worked out really well for us. So we had really good sparring, guys with good left hands, and Manny handled their left hands with a little bit of trouble at first, but then he adapted to it, and then Oscar had no left hand by fight time.
Do people misunderstand what sparring is all about? Because there were times when Manny had problems. He didn't look that impressive. Do people get the wrong impression of what sparring is really supposed to be?
Yeah, sparring is working on what you don't do well. You know, I mean, I see guys go out there and just, you know, fight their fight, but not work on certain strategies and certain moves. And in this camp, we're working on certain moves. And the thing is, Manny had difficulties with the sparring partners, especially Rashad, because he's a talented guy with a good left hand. And, you know, I knew once he could adapt to their left hands that it would be easy by fight time, and that's what happened.
We are here with Freddie Roch, coming off his big victory with Manny Pacquiao against Oscar De La Hoya. Let's go to the week of the fight. You had really put yourself out there a lot, as we mentioned. As you get to Vegas on Monday and Tuesday, did you start to feel the anxiety, and did Manny understand how upfront you were, that this wasn't just about Manny Pacquiao, but this was also about his trainer's reputation?
No doubt about it. Manny knew that this fight meant everything to me, and I won't say he won for me, but he knows it meant a lot to me, and he knows that my passion, and you know, just The thing about Pacquiao, though, he was so calm and happy the whole camp. It was just a great. He was in a great place. You know, the thing was, he was smiling, happy. He wasn't trying to make weight, not eating. He was eating full meals and stuff. And I think it's a trend of fighters. And don't kill yourself to make weight and burn yourself out. Fight a more natural weight, and that's what Pacquiao did. And he was happy the whole time. And I mean, we're at the track, and we're having a nice little run and stuff like this. And then Oscar shows up, and he could barely get around the track. It seemed like he's just like struggling to make weight. His face is drawn. He looked like he was like white as a ghost, and just. It just made my confidence that much more.
Well, speaking of that, also, you didn't feed him deer meat. I think that was also a big factor. That was a classic scene in 24/7 that you guys cross paths, and everyone knows the history, and you said, hey, guys, and they just ignore you. How rude was that? Were you offended?
I was offended. I worked with these guys before. I was part of their camp at one time, Oscar and the security guard and so forth. And, I said, here comes the girls, So, I mean, I get a smart mouth sometimes, but I just offended. It's a boxing match, man. It's not like who's has the toughest camp or who's the meanest, stuff like this. People get all cut up and like the camps are against each other and stuff. It's a sport, and they I think took it a little bit too far.
The rules meeting on Friday was very contentious regarding what Oscar can do. Be honest with me, Freddie. Was some of that legitimate, or was some of that a head game? Because you knew what was going on in terms of the way Joe Chavez wraps Oscar's hands.
Well, I had some points, so I could argue it, but it was all just to get him out of his game plan. Yeah, I mean, like I told Schaefer afterwards, I said, don't take it personally. I'm protecting my guy. I said, when I protected Oscar against Mayweather, when I told Mayweather that he couldn't wrap his hands in a certain way, they went crazy. But everyone, Oscar's camp was all happy about that because, maybe I took him out of his game plan a little bit and get him a little, he couldn't have what he normally has. And if I could do that to Oscar and take that away from him, I was going to do it because I'm for my fighter 100%. I'll do anything it takes, whatever it takes. And me standing there watching him wrap hands.
You actually were the camp representative on the night of the fight. That's unusual for you, isn't it, Freddie?
Very unusual. But the thing is, I just didn't trust anyone else to do a right job because, one thing I want, the rules are rules. I had some complaints. We met in the middle with one of the rules, and I wanted to make sure it was enforced, and it was.
Freddie, it was interesting. You had said throughout the whole camp, I can't believe that these guys believe being at weight, the whole camp is beneficial. That went against every conventional norm. When they weighed in at 145, what did you say to yourself?
I was thrilled. I mean, Pacquiao weighed 42. I said, that's fine. 45, I said, Oscar, he overdid it. He tried to prove that he can come in lighter than us. I think that was because he thought we were going to come in at 47. But the thing is, let's face it, fighters are on weight 5 minutes before they get on the scale. And then they're off weight, they're rehydrating themselves 5 minutes after. You don't, that concept is say, okay, being that weight for a month, so you're used to being at that weight, that's bullshit. Fighters make weight the last day and rehydrate themselves and go back up and weight and get strong and physically fit. All this deer meat and antelope meat and proteins, no carbohydrates, his nutritionist did a terrible job.
Freddie, you take a look at that fight. As you walk into the ring, there's a full house. I believe your mother was there, other family members, and this fight was a lot about Freddie Roch. You were the impetus for this fight being made. As you're waiting for Oscar De La Hoya to come into the ring, your fighter's in the ring, and you scan the arena, what's going through your mind at that point?
Not too much, just a little anxious, just ready for the fight to start, and then, Oscar, I was surprised that Oscar got a bigger hand than I thought he would, but then I thought there'd be more Filipinos, but the thing is, then I thought, well, he is the draw, He is. I forgot where I was for a moment. Oscar, he's still a big draw and so forth. But then, you know, I saw the IV in his arm. I saw that the IV marks, and I says, it's fresh tape. It's a fresh IV. I can tell I says they hydrated him too late. Mm-hmm. They waited too long to hydrate him. I feel. You know, it's not illegal, of course, but the thing is, he couldn't get nothing in the system, and then, you know, he was dehydrated after the fight. I get a report from the doctors. Actually, when it was dehydration, because they didn't hydrate him enough, and nobody let him build his body back up. They did it to themselves.
Freddie, when did you feel in the course of that fight you were going to fully control this bout? When did you feel to yourself, this is it, he cannot win Oscar De La Hoya?
Before the fight started.
Really, that early?
Yeah. When he gained 2 pounds between weigh-in and fight time, I says, Manny, he's going to be good for 3 rounds. Keep your hands up. Don't go crazy. Just take your time. Break him down slowly. We got him.
Freddie, is there a rematch clause? And if let's say one was offered, would you hesitate to take it?
I don't know if it's a sellable fight with the public, but I mean, of course we'd take it. But I don't want to hurt Oscar, but the thing is, after a beating like that, people aren't the same. No matter if he fights again, no matter who he beats, if he fights me, he might lose.
Well, he might have a farewell fight. I'm hearing Chavez Jr. I haven't heard the name Freddie Roch quite yet. Freddie, when you look at the legacy of Manny Pacquiao, every trainer has a defining fighter. Angelo Dundee obviously has Muhammad Ali. Chappie Blackburn had Joe Louis. I think it's pretty safe to say when people think of Freddie Roch, they think of Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, without a doubt, he's my best work to date. We've been together a long time. We have loyalty to each other. You know, I'm going to his birthday party next week in the Philippines. I'm flying there for 1 day and coming back, so it's a long flight. But you know, the thing is, he wants me there, and I'll be there.
Well, let's hope Bob Arum is paying for the trip. Talk about his improvement technically. I mean, even from, let's say, the first Morales fight in March of 2005, it seems to me he's infinitely more well-rounded as a prize fighter.
You know, because I thought he fought a perfect fight in the Diaz fight, and I said if he fights another perfect fight like that against Oscar, he'll win easily, and he did. I mean, he's on top of his game right now. Nobody in the world can beat him right now. I don't care. Marquez, come on, you can fight us. Floyd, come out of retirement, please, because we'll knock you out too.
What is your druthers? You have a say in this. You, Bob Arum, and Manny Pacquiao. You have said we're not going back down anywhere near below 140. So there's a lot of names out there. Ricky Hatton and the 2 names you mentioned. What are some of your initial thoughts on Manny Pacquiao's future in the ring?
Well, I'd like to see him fight a couple more fights and maybe get out and retire, you know. But, you know, I think the biggest fight out there right now is Floyd because he's a former pound-for-pound best fighter, and we are now. And, you know, he's undefeated, and, you know, he struggled with Oscar, won a split decision, and we knocked Oscar out. I think that's a fight everyone in America really, really wants to see. You know, Ricky Hatton, you know, he get knocked out by Floyd. He beat Paulie Malignaggi. You know, how good is he? Floyd's a much better fight. So, I mean, if we can get Floyd, I want Floyd now because Manny's in his prime right now, and we'll give him his first L.
Okay. Freddie, congratulations.
Thank you very much.